All right. My brother, Chuck Creekmore. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother. How's it going? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Man, I am wonderful. I'm sitting here with the founder of all hip hop, one of my favorite, outlets that I've had the opportunity to contribute to, that I have looked at for many, many years. So it is nothing but an honor and a pleasure to be on with one of the architects. And I just appreciate you taking some time out with me to talk about this Drake and Kendrick rap battle that's been going on over the past few weeks. I saw that you have been posting a lot of interesting thoughts. So I wanted to see if we could get together and get all of those insights around this lyrical conflict within one place. So I felt like
Yeah.
it was very, very critical that we hear from one of the architects that has been at the forefront of hip hop for over 25 years about what
Thank
is going on. So
you.
let's jump into it, sir. As
Mhm.
someone that has curated and narrated hip hop culture for decades, will this go down as one of the greatest rap battles of all time, sir?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, without question, yes. It already is. It's already there. I mean, we're really now trying to figure out, is it a better battle than Big and Pac? Is it a better battle than Jay and Nas? Um, and that's hard to say, but it is absolutely already one of the best, one of the greatest. And absolutely, I think we can agree the biggest. And that's a sign of the times in addition to the way it went down.
I have to agree with you, my brother. I wonder, how do you feel it compares to some of the past battles that have taken place? You mentioned a few of them. Of course, we got your Jay and Nas, your classic ones with your KRS, MC Shan,
Mhm.
LL, and Mo D. I mean, should Drake get additional credit for not only being formidable, but having to go to war with a variety of people simultaneously, including the internet? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like literally, Drake has been standing up against the opposition like Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon. I mean, he's taking on crowds of people with nothing but nunchucks and leg kicks. What do you think about that, sir?
Well, yeah. Well, no, I don't give him additional credit. I don't give him additional credit because it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, ASAP Rocky and Future and whoever else is nobody. But if you standing in front of, um, let's just say in boxing terms, I use boxing terms a lot. If you're standing in front of Mike Tyson and then the other two guys are, let's just say, featherweights. I'm not, again, no disrespect. You going to deal with Mike Tyson. So to me, especially as it got to the later part of the battle, when Drake started addressing ASAP Rocky and Kendrick had already dropped, I was like, yeah, no, not really, not so much. I'm feeling like you are either running out of steam with Kendrick himself because he's the only one at this point addressing you directly, or you need to extend this a little bit. So I do give Drake a lot of credit for simply battling, period. Because he didn't have to. I don't feel like he needed to do this. It didn't up his status to me. It definitely is a commendable it's commendable that he got in the ring, so to speak, at all.
Yeah, especially at his level. Now we've heard tracks from Drake as well as Kendrick. Who do you feel has the advantage at this time, and kind of why?
I mean, personally, I really went into this right, right in the middle, right? Because right now, to me, Drake, I'll say before this battle, Drake and J. Cole were on fire. Like they were really representing like a perfect union of hip hop, right? Between the commercial and more of a more underground or more like traditional classic hip hop. And they came together, and that was like really dope, right? By the way, the word is, and I think it's pretty much confirmed, is, Kendrick was invited to be on first person shooter, which would have been incredible in my mind. The whole thing, it would have been absolutely drop dead magnificent, straight like that. So when Kendrick when Kendrick dropped that line on Like That, I was like, oh man, damn, bro, what you doing, man? They calling you guys the big three. Well, what time, what type of time are you on? So fast forward to now. Who's up? And by the way, push-ups was incredible. I worked out to that. I ran miles and miles. I was just hyped up. But all things considered, everything considered, I still have Kendrick up at this point. I personally still have Kendrick up. And the reason I have Kendrick up is because of the level of showmanship, the different styles, the different flows, the Easter eggs, the first couple records were like you're decoding it, you're hearing something different and new every time you play it. You People are saying, oh no, that's not a car reference, that's a liposuction reference, and all these different things. And then it gradually got the bar, not the bar, but sort of the frequency kind of came down lower and lower and lower as the battle got darker and darker. And then by the end of it, he has a party record, a hit party record that everybody's bopping to, crip walking to, dancing to, and the West Coast is feeling great. And that's kind of where I feel like Kendrick was just like hitting them from every angle. Like if you hit somebody in the body in boxing, your arms come down. Then you start getting hit in the head. You put this, then you get hit, like it was just from every angle, in my opinion. That said, Drake, he did his thing as well. I just feel like Kendrick edged this one out, based on all things considered. I don't think it's all debatable, right? But that's my opinion.
I got you. I got you. I tend to actually lean towards where you are with it as well. Now that everyone is laid their cards on the table, how do
Mhm.
you now look at J. Cole deciding to opt out of this conflict, especially since it's gotten incredibly ugly and dark, as you say?
Well, I don't. Well, I think J. Cole did the right thing. On All Hip Hop, we reported that Schoolboy Q and J. Cole had a conversation at the Dreamville Festival. It's on the site. And that conversation resulted in the apology at the festival. I don't know what J. Cole had planned because the album Might Delete This had dropped earlier that week.
Mhm.
I don't know what he had planned, but whatever was said seems like changed the course of where J. Cole was going. And maybe he literally felt it in his soul and his spirit, but maybe they advised him in some way, shape, or form to step out of this because it's going to get crazy. You might not want to do that. And I think it was the best thing to do now. It started out lyrical. It started out, kind of like Titans battling, and it ended up just the dirtiest thing, the most grimiest allegations and accusations we've ever really seen in hip hop. Even Pac and Big weren't calling each other pedophiles and woman abusers, right? And some of that was present back then. You know what I'm saying? Like keep it a buck. Um, so it's crazy, man. So, and I don't know, man. Something about it that I just didn't particularly like. Some say you should be, we're here to be disrespectful as possible. I don't know, man. It just didn't sit. I didn't really like it. And I said in my live, I would have never. I don't know. I would have never wanted to see Cole and Kendrick tear each other to shreds that way. Just
Yeah.
a little the nuance with Drake is serious. It's a serious difference between him and Cole. So there's a big difference between the two. And so I think in my mind, Cole and Kendrick were like, yo, man, we brothers. We are in my mind again,
Right.
we're brothers. Just don't do this. And he continued to take little shots at Cole, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I have to agree. It seems like Cole might have probably opted out might have been that might have been the best thing for him as well. And I just don't look at Cole that way. I mean, he can
Yeah,
obviously he can go there, he can rap with the best of them, but he just doesn't seem like that's the vibe that he's on.
the
Uh,
savagery.
yeah, I just didn't think that that was something he was just like, this isn't really me to that level. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys do that. And from what I'm seeing, maybe that was the right thing to do because this got very, very ugly. In that same vein, sir, as we're talking about that, should family be off limits when it comes to rap battles and such like that? Because this got beyond personal.
Yeah, nobody thinks about how this. I don't think anybody thinks about how this impacts the kids, how this impacts the babies, mothers, or the wives, or the um, parents. I don't know, man. They say all's fair in love and war,
Mhm.
but also there's a thing with no women and children. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence, but I will say this: as a man, by and large, if you mention my daughter, we gotta fight. You know, we gotta shoot the fade. If I see you in person, I won't talk to you. I will not. I personally will not speak. If you mention my daughter, I'm not talking to my phone, not running to a studio. I'm gonna just wait until I see you, and then we'll handle it that way. And that's my as a man approach. This is also entertainment for everybody. So as a source of entertainment, I would say everything goes, anything goes. That's just the way it is. And that's just where we are right now. You know, Jay and Nas was 25 more years ago, or maybe, somewhere in that range. It's just where we are. So I can't really be too judgmental. There have been moments where I was just as much with the popcorn as anybody else, but this just felt slightly darker and more disrespectful than anything we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I have to agree. What do you feel are the pros and cons with how this battle took place? Like, how do you see it impacting the culture going forward?
I think it's good. I mean, from listen, as dirty and dark as it got, overall, it's a good thing. Overall, I had more people tell me I'm excited and interested in hip hop again than in the last 10 or more years. This has erased some of the otherness that has been going on in the culture. This has washed that away, if only for a minute or two. You know, this has gotten rid of some of the other elements that we really, really hate. I think that it brought Kendrick out. Like, let's give Drake credit. He said it in his last song.
Yeah.
He brought Kendrick back as an MC. You know, he's a creative MC. He's creative, he's emotive, he's deep, he's all these other things, but this brought out the dog or the beast or the, that MC that we know he's capable of being. I think in some ways it put more respect on Drake's name too. You know, he did have help. He did have other writers involved in the process of this battle. Let's never forget that. That's a cardinal sin in hip hop, by the way. They weren't ghostwriters, they were writers. And I don't know if anybody makes that distinction between a ghostwriter and a writer. I would venture to say a writer might even be worse because we clearly know you're using other people. But putting that aside, Drake gets some props for getting in the ring, throwing his bolos, throwing his biggest punch. Again, it's similar to fighting Mike Tyson. If you get in the ring, uh, you get credit. You know you're getting knocked out. You know you're gonna get late. You know you're gonna touch the canvas. You already know going into it. And some don't equate Kendrick Lamar to a Mike Tyson, but to me, lyrically, he's he's right there. To me, style wise and his ability to do the falsetto that Drake referenced. We know he's doing falsetto, but I have a theory on that as well. And he uses different things. Michael Jackson used falsetto. He took the bass out of his voice for a reason. So that's a whole nother conversation. But I just think that Kendrick is really an elite MC. I think Drake is an elite and necessary global superstar in hip hop. And I would have personally preferred more than even this whole epic historic battle. I would have preferred them to all be on first person shooter. That is what I would rather see more than anything, personally.
I agree. I agree. That would have been amazing. That would have just been incredible, incredible. More about the battle real quick. If someone uses information that isn't true in the battle, does that take away their credibility or should we just treat it like entertainment?
Um, uh,
Because there
wow,
was a
that
lot of things said,
yeah,
and obviously,
yeah,
there's a lot of fact checking going on, and things that some things may not be true, or some things may have some truth to them, or
right,
some things may be outright lies.
yeah.
But just in fact, if something is proven to be not true, or you really don't have receipts for whatever you've asked for, does that kind of, dilute, things a bit for that person?
I think it dilutes it a little bit. I think, for example, is Kendrick Lamar a wife beater, an abuser? Those are serious allegations for someone of his caliber. Is he an abuser? We don't know.
Right.
You know, if Drake is going to make that claim, you need to have Whitney, his fiance or whatever, on that track saying, yo, this dude did this dude did that. It needs to be a police report or something. For example, when Jay-Z went at Prodigy of Mobb Deep, he say, hey man, you was a ballerina. I seen the pictures. Puts him on a Summer Jam screen, um as more or less a dancer, not a ballerina per se, but enough information for it to be a dagger, like kind of destroying Prodigy's hood credibility. His grandmom or something in Prodigy's family is a legendary figure in history, and he went to her dance studio from time to time. Is that bad? I don't know. Pop was a ballerina at some point too. Like, is that does that take away from his credibility? I don't know. I don't know. Like, does it? To ask somebody who may be a little more qualified than I am to answer that. So that said, is Drake a pedophile? I don't think he's a pedophile, but there are reports on credible source, credible news spaces like, say, USA Today, that he has had interactions that are problematic with young women, teenagers. Is he a pedophile though? Mm, no, I don't think so. As a father, I think differently of the interactions. And so therefore, I may be predisposed to lean a certain way about that particular part. If you're not a father or you are not someone who thinks that's wrong, you might say, it's not a big deal. And you might keep it pushing and say Drake won. So, I mean, I think you need to have some sort of receipts, and that was the rules. You're not a real thug. Here's the proof.
Right.
You know, so that's that's my opinion.
No, I got you. And the last one here, my brother, what's next for these two MCs after that? Like, do they just continue to kind of keep the subliminals going, or do they just hit a gym, get some boxing equipment, and everybody going and just go and get it out their soul? Because at this point, I just feel like they need to just go ahead and put the gloves on and let's go and get this over with. What you think, sir?
Physically, they're in two different weight classes. Drake,
Just a little bit.
yeah, Drake's been he's been lifting weights among other things, but he's been lifting weights. So he's looking like he could squab it out. Um, what's next? I this is my hope. Now, first of all, I just want to again reiterate, this is a career legacy defining moment, right? A
Absolutely.
legacy defining moment with no clear winner. Like, there is no definitive winner. We can have our opinions, but this is not there's no clear winner. So it's a long game. Just like Jay-Z and Nas, it's a long game. We're gonna see who the winner is in 5, 10 years. right? Because the battle's not the war. That said, my hope is that Kendrick continues with this energy, continues to bring out, the community aspect of him, include us in the works. Like you included us in this battle, make us dance, make us chant hooks, give us heavy lyrics, give us hip hop heads aggressive lyrics, battle, just like the swagger of hip hop. Back up off the Andre 3000 a little bit for a minute. Come down to earth with us. Give us those classic albums that include the whole hip hop diaspora, right? Um, that's what I hope. Because the last album was so personal. It was like, oh, this is traumatic.
Yeah.
It's hitting me here. It's hitting me here. I don't want to, I don't want to relive my own trauma, and then I don't want to live your trauma either. So that's how I feel. On the flip side, I hope Drake more or less continues to do what he's been doing. Just get back to what you were doing right before this battle, because you were on a hot streak. He had got back to rapping again. He was still he was partnering with the younger artists in hip hop, which is a good thing, by the way, which is an amazing thing. Everyone's not going to like it because he's not doing the little brother raps or the Joe Button like raps or the Little Wayne type raps that he used to do. But that's why he's around for this long, because he's adapted and he's evolved over time. And that's what you're supposed to do. Jay-Z did the exact same thing. He learned from Jay-Z, just like Kobe learned from Jordan. So you have to continue to evolve. Um, and that's pretty much it. Kendrick has evolved. That is a beautiful thing. Everyone's not gonna follow you as you change and evolve. As for J. Cole, I'm gonna throw him in there as well. I just hope he can deliver on his next project. I would love for him to erase the stain, the the proverbial sin of apologizing and backing out of a rap battle that he was fully equipped to handle.
Yeah.
I think above I honestly I feel he was best qualified to go into this. I don't know now. Now that it's run its course, I don't know. But I love J. Cole, man. I really do. And I'll say this to you as well before we wrap. I um I have a fatherhood connection to all of this, right? So, like 10 to 12 years ago, somewhere between 10 and 12 years ago, I interviewed Kendrick Lamar at the Apple store in New York, Soho. And I interviewed him in front of a studio audience. This is when the first album dropped, Good Kid, Mad City. And I was a struggling single dad at the time. My daughter was very young, and I took her with me all the places. I sometimes had to, sometimes I wanted to. This was when one instance, I believe it was probably a combination of both, but I made sure I took my daughter with me to meet Kendrick Lamar, because at that young age, I only let her meet artists based on the energy around them, positive, good energy. And I had met Kendrick before in passing in industry things, and I still do have his information in my phone. J. Cole too, by the way. And so basically I she met him. She met him. And it was so dope. It was so dope. There's a little video of him saying, "Oh, you're so pretty," from the stage. It's girls thought he was flirting. They was mad at him because he was flirting with, not flirting, but they perceived it as flirting with my daughter, who they couldn't see. She's off camera. Um, but that was dope. Then I met J. Cole, and I had my daughter take a picture with him at the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, the one where Jay-Z and J. Cole performed. And that was a similar thing. Yo, this dude is the guy, he's the next up, da da da. And then our first real concert experience for her was Drake. That was at Madison Square Garden. And that was an amazing show. Like, it was a crazy dope show. And at that point, I knew the Drake records that they were performing. She was old enough to know the records, some of them, and we were singing some of them together. So it was just a great sort of 360 moment, all things considered. She's never met Drake. And I've barely met Drake. Actually, that's not true. I have met Drake, but that's another story. But anyway, so I say all that to say, man, it's hip hop, bro, and it's a beautiful, beautiful culture. We are a beautiful, vibrant culture. And we just have to understand that. We need to galvanize around the bad stuff and just the PowerPoints and all the positions of strength that we have, and do the same with everything else that we did with this battle.
I love it. I love it. Actually, I couldn't agree more with you with everything that you just said, and how you wrapped it up there was just outstanding. Kind of bringing it all the way back around, and of course, bringing into the fold your daughter, and only bringing quality people into her space as well. So I just appreciate you giving your opinion. Again, I had to sit with the architect and get these
Appreciate you.
thoughts. And so obviously I'll go ahead and get this out and everything as well. But I just thank you for everything that you've done, not only for the culture, but even for myself personally.
Appreciate
I
you.
love the brand, and I'm looking forward to continuing to watch you do what you do, and continuing to be what you are, which is at the forefront of hip hop culture. We appreciate you. We love you, my brother, and thank you for taking some time to do this with me.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Salute always, my brother. Take care.